I know it's early in the year, but I kind of wonder how your experience has been going with changing teams, right? You were over at RCR, won a couple races last year, had a great thing going. You watched Kyle take the car. I mean, y'all won both stages at Fontana in that car. You know it's a fast car. Kyle goes there and does some really good things and wins the race. So that's not a big shock. But how are you finding this shift from culture and team, manufacturer? You changed from Junior Motorsports to RCR, so you understand how to adapt as a driver from one culture to a different culture. But, manufacturers and tools and sim and all those things are all going to be different for you now. And how's that going?
Yeah, just going into it with an open mind. Everyone on the Toyota side, TRD side's been really, really welcoming. I've heard about it throughout the years as I've been in racing, that they treat everyone like family, and getting to experience that and see that first hand is really cool. They've made me feel right at home right away. And then, on the team side, 2311 does things quite a bit differently than RCR. Denny's approach, Wheeler's approach, they got Dave Rogers. They got a lot of great people over there that I think just go about it differently than some of the other teams. And just trying to get accustomed to their routine. I had my routine that I had at RCR and the things that I would do during the week, and just trying to get used to
what's the difference?
The flow. I think it's all good things. There's more meetings. I think Dave's really pressed upon me the importance of being a better note taker. I would take notes and I remember things, but there's a lot of ways I could continue to improve as a driver, and Dave and the team have really helped kind of open my mind up to some more things that I want to get better at. I feel like for me as a driver, what I in the off season of 2020 to 21, when I got a lot better at the road courses, the team really gave me like, hey, this is what you need to look at. This is what we need to get better at. And they kind of gave me stuff to go chase after. And I feel like I've been given the same, things to go chase after again this year with the new team. So, just trying to get used to I know the drivers at Joe Gibbs Racing. Obviously, I know Denny, I know Martin, but working with them closer now, working with Bubba closer again. We kind of got to do that a little bit when he was at Petty, and I was at RCR. But then COVID kind of changed everything for the rest of the year. But just getting used to how they go about things, leaning on the drivers and how they approach simulator, getting used to the differences between the simulator that I was in to being in the Toyota simulator. But all of it's been good. It's just been different. I think I got really used to that routine that I was kind of in for 3 or 4 years, and it took a little bit of time to, I guess, get out of that routine and try to piece together what my schedule week to week is going to look like and how to maximize it. Because I felt like that's where I was able to make good gains at RCR. Is I really had my schedule packed full of stuff of what I needed to get done. And I'm still working, trying to get that completely maximized over here. But I think it's off to a good start. I mean, we didn't get to practice or qualify at Vegas. And just because Bubba's car and my car are really, really close setup-wise, he went out there and practiced really good, had some changes they tried. We didn't get to practice, but it was almost like we still did. So it worked out pretty good for us when the race started.
You talked about the driver. You talked about your week. I don't know in detail a lot of what a Cup guy is doing, but I do know what our Xfinity guys are required to do and asked to do during the week. I remember exactly what I was doing just less than a decade ago. And other drivers in the Cup garage, I knew what they were doing. And the amount of time that you're responsible for now as a driver, and you've seen this change just in the time that you came into the sport, it's massively different.
Yeah. No, for sure.
Your Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday is spoken for. You've got meetings and training, and on top of that, being a father and a husband and trying to do those type of things. So, when I watch our Xfinity guys, I kind of worry. Man, I worry about them getting burned out before the end of the year. That was a big concern when I came into NASCAR in 2000. Dad and all those guys were like, the Cup level's a little different. I promise you, no matter how well you think you're prepared and how well you think you've scheduled your year, 10 races to go, you're going to be toast. At the end of this year, you're going to be done. And they were right. With about 10 races to go in my rookie year, I was out of gas, just emotionally and mentally. And I don't think that I look at what these guys are doing today, what you're doing, and I don't think that it's not normal.
It doesn't seem like it for sure.
And now I think too, like a lot of people that come up into this type of getting the top 3 levels are in for a huge awakening in terms of what they're going to be asked to do.
Yeah.
I don't think it changed. I don't think when I went from late models to Xfinity to Cup, the adjustment and the requirement and responsibility didn't change an awful lot. I still had a ton of free time during the week to fill with whatever I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not the case anymore for you guys. Where does it end? Like how much harder can you stretch out the day, right? And fit time into into the week. Then you're going to go and put it all together and race on the weekend. When you probably go on the race weekend, you're kind of like, nice, a little reprieve from training, sim, home, all of the things. I can actually, when I'm not in the car and in the hauler, I can kind of relax for a minute, right?
Well, I've kind of found myself to be the person that has to just be running and doing something, or have to be working on something at all hours of the day. Like, I've never really been. The few times that I've tried to go on vacation and like unwind and relax, I sit down and maybe have a drink, and then my mind just immediately goes back to thinking about what I should be doing at home or working on. I think I've just kind of mentally, maybe I was always that person, but I've done a better job over the last couple of years of really like taking that, acting upon it and doing those things. So for me, like, yeah, my rookie year, I had the same kind of burnout. I was, I felt like I was working really hard, doing all this stuff. Things just weren't working out. And yeah, it was about 10 races to go. I was like, man, this is tough. But oddly enough, the answer for me at the time, and it still seems to be the answer, was just, all right, the off season gets here, just go to work. I just kept working on it. And I've just found myself within myself that, the more that I work on this stuff, the more confidence I have going into the race weekend. And mentally, it puts me in a better spot too. And this is what I want to do. And I flat out just love putting all the time that I can into it.
Yeah.
I've gotten rewards from it. You're not always guaranteed that, right? And you can't get disappointed when you don't get them. But just the whole process, for me, fulfills me on the racing side. And like also personally too, like I've really enjoyed getting in a lot better shape. Like I feel like I have more energy. I can do more things. It's just all around made me more productive.
So you are in way better shape than when you first came into, the Xfinity Series. What is the one thing that's most important to your training? What is the one thing you like the most that you do the most? Like I liked riding bikes. Riding bikes for me was great mentally and physically. Is there one sort of thing that you stick to?
Man, I really like all of it, but I think it may not necessarily always be the most beneficial for like a super hot weekend at like I can try to think of the race like a road course, but for me, like being in the gym and weightlifting and doing exercises of that nature are always really fulfilling personally. I used to absolutely hate running, and running for me is like kind of a way to kind of unwind and unplug from everything going on and just work on yourself.
So now you like
honestly,
running.
all of it. I did a lot of biking because I hated running because my knees would hurt, my legs would hurt, and I kind of enjoyed exploring the process of, okay, well, why do my legs hurt when I run? Okay, well, my form is terrible. I need to work on my form. I need to change the shoes I'm wearing. I need to, how I'm sitting in the car is screwing up my legs when I run, and then I fix that, and it seemed to also help my comfort inside the car. So everything I've kind of done has been based around making me better in the car to some degree, and I feel like it's helped me be better in the car. So I just continue to feed off of that and just keep chasing that perfection that you'll never get to. But I just really enjoy that part of it because it's helped.
That's one of the most impressive things about you for me is how you worked harder on you. When you came into the Xfinity Series, there were a couple moments where you were like, you looked at me and you're like, I'm gonna do better. I can do better. I can do this better. And it wasn't even on the track stuff.
Yeah.
Right. And you went to RCR. You've physically gotten better shape. You seem more mentally, grasping what you're trying to accomplish week to week and day to day. You seem to have a better, understanding of what's in front of you. And that's really, really impressive because, man, the raw ability and the raw talent that a lot of people think you have is up there. I mean, Denny's said it. Everybody at RCR knows it. Anybody that you ever worked with knows that there's this raw sense of what the car's doing underneath you that a lot of drivers don't even possess. And it's the difference between what makes a good guy and a good driver and a great driver is that real incredible sense. And you're putting the rest of that package together. I mean, you're getting really close to sort of, you can be great anywhere, road courses, short tracks, anywhere. And so it's pretty impressive to see. I just think that, it's been nice to see you, take things more and more seriously as you get further into this deal and appreciate it as much as you do.
What do you do for a hobby?
I mean, I'm not going to lie. I definitely had a lot more hobbies before I became a dad, and I feel like I really had to cut a lot of that out to get the same amount of stuff done in the week. So, like, I feel like, when I go train and do all this stuff for a purpose.
You train. I mean, you're really going to tell us that you train as a hobby?
I really do enjoy it. I remember
you're an animal
talking to somebody about this, and they're like, "Would you still do all this training and stuff if racing ended tomorrow?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'd probably actually train more because I wouldn't have to be like semi-fresh on Sundays." That was one of the most fun things that I got out of the whole progress I made over the last couple of years on training. Is I felt like I used to have to like give my body a rest, like on that Thursday and Friday, or maybe that Friday and Saturday leading into Sunday. And what's been really fun about the whole process is I feel like I've kind of gotten to a point where I can kind of just attack my body all week long to Friday. I drive Petrie crazy when I go run on Saturday afternoon or maybe do a light jog Sunday morning before the race because it would drive him absolutely crazy. Like, you're not sharp. I'm like, I'm fine, I promise. Like, I'm good. It's kind of fun to get to that point where you're in good shape to where you can get in the car. And if you're not feeling good, you can still perform at a really high level. If you get sick, if just, your air conditioning fails, your cool shirt fails, you can still perform and get the job done. So I really enjoyed that process. I love exercising.
Hey, if you like that video, you'll love the entire podcast, the Dale Jr. Download. It's available on all major podcast platforms.